Hello, my friends, and welcome back to I'm Diabetic with Anthony. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some tips and tricks that I have been using, which has been helping me live with my type 2 diabetes for the last 20 years. Plus, I'm going to tell you the one that works the most and why. I'm Diabetic with Anthony starts right now. Alright, so now I'm going to provide you with a list of some of those tips and tricks. There's going to be about four of them, and I'm going to start off with number four, which was the least effective tip, and work my way up to number one, which has been the best one for me, and why. So let's begin. Number four, I realized that fiber is a best friend for diabetics, and not just any kind of fiber, insoluble fiber. I'll explain why. After we eat insoluble fiber, what happens is it turns into a gel-like substance in our intestines, and it takes a long time for it to be digested. And this is great because for diabetics, it acts as a dam, blocking how quickly the sugar enters into our bloodstream and will slowly spike our blood sugar numbers. That's right. So insoluble fiber is a diabetic's best friend. Also, you must understand that everything we eat turns to sugar. Next, we're going to go up to number three, which is exercise. I realized that just by adding any kind of exercise, it helped to control my blood sugar numbers safely. It could be either weight training or cardio. Any kind you could do. Because as we exercise, not only does it improve our circulation, but it makes our muscles be used and get stronger. And when this happens, our muscles require more energy. And where do they get it from? Well, the sugar, the food that we eat. And as that happens, the blood sugar gets regulated naturally. So try to add a little bit of exercise into your daily routine the best way you can. Find out the best one and put it in there, and you'll see how your blood sugar numbers will help it go down. Next, we're going to go over to number two, which is I learned how to read labels. Reading labels for diabetics is very important because you want to understand how much sugar will be entering your body after you eat the food. So, I'm going to teach you how to properly read a label for diabetics. Now, it's not just you look at the sugar count and say, well, you know what, it's got so much sugar in the whole package and it's healthy for me. No, my friends, the food companies are telling you the truth. For example, a product has 3 grams of sugar, but they're not telling you the whole truth. Because when you calculate your total sugar, you have to see the serving size that you'll be eating. Plus, you have to calculate the carbohydrate number and the sugar number to get a total sugar count. So, for example, any product I'm going to be talking about, let's just say cereal, half a cup of any kind of cereal will be 20. So you use the 20 count of the carb count. And then you look at the sugar count, let's say it's 3, and that total sugar intake will be 23. So that's how to properly read your labels. And I learned that to be a very helpful tool when eating foods which control my blood sugar numbers. Now, this system was probably already taught to you if you attended any diabetes classes. So it's really no surprise. Don't just listen out there. There's going to be lots of people saying, it's just the sugar count. It's just the sugar count. No, you must understand that the carb count is important. Everything you eat turns to sugar. Very important. Even if you're trying to lose weight. That's right. That's why most diets fail because people do not count carbohydrate number. Because when all that sugar is hanging around in our body, it is stored into our bodies as fat and we gain weight. So, label reading was very important. Now, the number one tip that's been helping me the most and why is testing. Let me explain. When you test after you eat your dinners or your lunches, you will realize how that food affected your blood sugar numbers. And you'll be able to incorporate foods in ways that they will not spike your blood sugar numbers. That's right. This is not a channel where I'm telling you, don't even touch a carb, don't even touch, a cookie. No, when you understand how that food affects your blood sugar number, well, you know what? You could sneak it in every once in a while without that huge sugar spike. That's right. Also, by testing, I understood when the spike happens because the spike happens to everybody, type 2 diabetics and non-diabetics. The spike is how high your number goes 1 hour after you eat. This is very important. We've been told to check 2 hours later, which is still okay if you have a working pancreas. But if you're a type 2 diabetic, you should be checking 1 hour later because not only will you know how quickly that food affected your blood sugar number and you know what the spike number is, but you also know how that spike is affecting your overall health. For example, a spike affects your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your heart health, and your overall health. So when you get to your doctor and they test your blood sugar, they're going to tell you, well, you know what, seems to be okay, but now you have a high blood pressure, heart issues, and whatever. But they're not going to refer that to a spike. First of all, they don't have time to do this because you know what, they are very busy people. We just have to learn this ourselves through trial and error. And when I started testing, well, I realized the foods that spiked my blood sugar numbers. What were they? Well, the foods made from wheat, starches, grains, and sugars. That's right. They were problematic for me. And what were those foods? Well, pasta, breads, and potatoes and rice. Now, you know what? Just because they affected me in a certain way, it's not going to be affecting you in the same way. Our bodies all work different, so the only way you can find out how that food affects your blood sugar numbers is by testing. So I learned that those foods were problematic for me, and I removed most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. So don't forget, it works different for everybody. Now you're probably also saying, well, you know what? Aren't we supposed to get valuable nutritional information from them, values for our body? Well, yes. Nutrients. Well, yes. But only the way Mother Nature gives it to us, from the ground up. Not after man chops them down and turns them into those nasty pasta breads and then your starchy foods. That's right. After that, it's game over. I will guarantee it will be affecting your blood sugar numbers at some point to a high, but to see how it's affecting yours, double check. Now you're probably wondering, well, okay, I understand about testing, but testing is expensive. Can you please recommend a monitor that's cheap and will help us? Well, this channel, I'm not sponsored by anybody. It's not that kind of a channel. So I won't be telling you the one I used, but I could give you a couple of hints. For example, how to choose a monitor. The first thing is don't go by how expensive the monitor is. Go by how cheap the test strips are. I tested all three levels, from cheap, mid-grade, and expensive ones, and you know what? The cheap kind work just the same. It's all about the types of food that you eat. That's very important. Next, just go and look for a box at the pharmacy that is yellow and has a butterfly at the top right hand side. and that's the monitor that I use. Or just ask the pharmacist which are the cheapest test strips, and they will provide you with the monitor that matches those test strips. Also, just because you tested a few times and you realize that certain foods affect your blood sugar numbers, don't be a know-it-all, because I've been a diabetic for over 20 years, and even the foods that were safe at one point have been problematic for me. So testing was the only way I figured this out. They're not going to tell you on any kind of pamphlet or commercial. You have to push your testing. All right, that's this short video. Hit the like button, keep sharing it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so YouTube will let you know every time I put up a video. I try to put up videos on a weekly basis as time and scheduling permits. And don't forget, all carbs turn to sugar. And if you would like to know a little bit more about Anthony's diabetes story, well, hit the link below and watch an interview I did on another popular diabetes channel. All right, that's it for now. We'll see you soon. Bye.